Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Auphanim. We have a whole lot of XRP news. Remember, chapters are going to be in the video, so you can jump around in case you want to skip a particular crypto and get to another one. So chapters are there for you, okay? So just in case this is a long video, you don't have to watch everything. Now, also, don't forget my book is available around the world on Kindle tablets, and also Amazon.com digital download. If you want that, only $9.99. And also, today they finally released my Auphanim show on Spotify. It will be becoming available on Apple Music as well as YouTube and all other streaming platforms. You know, sometimes I'm going to put out motivation on there. Sometimes I'm going to be putting out full podcast shows on there for you. We'll talk a little crypto, but we will be having fun on that show as well as talking crypto. So now let's get into this article here. This is on the cryptobasic.com, and it goes as such. It says, Ripple slams the SEC for its continued redaction request regarding Amici's participation in the expert challenge. Now, before we get into this, I just want to say it seems like the SEC has been grabbing at any straws possible to delay the case further and further. They know, I feel firmly, that they know they're going to lose. They're in a bad position. They're doing very badly. And if they lose this case, they know it's more than just a loss, because they've lost before. I'm assuming everyone loses. However, what I think they're concerned about is that it sets a precedent for a lot of the other compliant bank coins, a lot of the other compliant crypto outright. Once Ripple wins, everyone else will have an archetype, a plotted line of how to defeat the SEC. And if they proceed the exact same way that Ripple did, then they probably also could come by a victory. So, mostly I'm thinking about the bank coins, because, the SEC is now, and we're going to get into another article, the SEC is now ramping up its attacks on crypto overall. That's why I'm telling people, be careful and be prepared for what may come. See all the possibilities. Look at cause and effect. If the cause is the SEC saying, hey, everything might be a security, then you know that the effects could be that most of these things might get regulated out of existence. And a lot of these companies, I don't know how much money they have on hand to be able to pay some of these hefty fines that the SEC is going to be levying against them. But let's read this little article here. So what I'm saying is be careful with your money. So it goes as such. Ripple and two of its executives, Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson, have slammed the Securities and Exchange Commission's continuous efforts to redact some portion of its recently filed response regarding Amici's participation in the upcoming Dalbert challenge involving one of SEC's experts. Now, I think it's logical to understand that if there's redactions, that there must be something in there they don't want people to see, other than basic redactions like social security numbers, things of that nature. But if this was, what was this? Let's just take this here. Scroll up a little bit. Was this what do you call that? A deposition? See, now what the SEC has been doing is redacting everything, like as much as possible. So either one of two things: either there's something they don't want people to see, or they're using it as a stalling tactic. You get what I'm saying? So it's sort of like you don't want the grade on the test, so you keep asking if you can see the paper. Can I see the paper? Hold on. And you hand it back, and then the teacher's about to grade and say, what, can I just see the paper one more time? You're delaying the outcome. And that's what I think they're really doing, stalling for time. And Ripple wants to get this over with. Remember, there's a lot of money on the table. And yes, I do believe that in some sort of way, this is sort of like an initiation for Ripple. Like they have to go through the fire. Anybody who has ever been a part of any type of fraternal order knows that there are like initiatory steps that you have to go through before you become sort of part of the club, right? And I see this is like Ripple's initiatory step toward going into the banking family. It's definitely part of the new financial system. You have just way too many banks signed up to use XRP for it not to be. But this is like the proving grounds. Like if you can survive this, Ripple, then you're one of us. And all the banks have had to go through their various rigors over time, and some of them still do, because they're supervised entities. And let me tell you, supervisory entities, they don't play well with others. they just don't. They're very stern and harsh. But let's read this here. It says, the defendants noted that it is not possible to grant the SEC's redaction request without undermining the open judicial system. See, I told you there's something wrong here. And there's another thing with the SEC being able to sort of make up its own rules as it goes along. undermine and undercut other governmental entities. Like I said, like here, the governing system here, they don't, it's like the SEC doesn't want to be undermined, but they're going to undermine other systems. That just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand how they're getting away with this lack of respect for certain systems that they're supposed to be utilizing as a tool to bring about a safer environment. How can we trust an entity that shirks all the rules, so to speak, and could possibly, based on certain information, right, according to certain documents that were released that could possibly have been involved in corruption, how could anyone trust them? So, I mean, I see something more happening out of this than just Ripple winning the case. You know, people really need to look into this. It says SEC's redaction request is uncalled for. Ripple asserted that even when parties in the lawsuit request to seal documents for safety reasons, the court usually permits narrowed redactions where only the witnesses' personal information, including names, residential addresses, can be redacted. So that's what I was saying before. It says the SEC's proposed redactions, this is a quote, have nothing to do with purported safety concerns. I told you. So this goes back to what I was saying before. So either they have something to hide or they're stalling for time. They're using this as a stalling mechanism. It says defendant's letter does not pose any meaningful risk. It does not even mention the expert's name. Wow. So there's something in there. There's something in there. We'll see if Ripple in the courts put it out there. We'll see. It says despite the fact that Ripple tried not to disclose any of the expert's personal information, the SEC is still proposing redactions to the blockchain company's letter on 3 bases. First, the SEC requested that the court should seal Ripple's description of the expert's methodology. Wow, that's interesting. Second, the SEC demanded that the court seal 2 of Ripple's substantive arguments about the impropriety of the agency's positions. There we go. Ripple called them out on something or exposed them on something. Their substantive arguments, which means they had a lot of potency, their most potent arguments. That's what it means. Obviously, the SEC doesn't want that out there. And so it says, second, the SEC demanded that the court seal 2. There's 2 arguments that we need to know about. There's 2 arguments that the SEC doesn't want us to read or know about, or have other companies, like I said before, other blockchain companies use those same arguments. So they're trying to have them sealed. There we go, right there. I knew it was something. So this is unbelievable that the SEC is allowed to do these things, but it, I believe, is a symptom of many things that are going on in governmental entities around the world. There's just too much power, a little bit too much corruption, in my humble opinion, and they are completely mistreating the people. Now, what the people are going to do about that, we'll see. We will see. Let's move on to another article here. Another one about the SEC. There's a lot of things happening here. It's unbelievable. Every single day, there's so much happening. It says SEC chairman piles pressure on altcoins. Says Bitcoin is the only one I am willing to say is a commodity. So this is Gary Gensler once again. You know, he wants to come after crypto. He wants to eliminate most of crypto because, and I agree with that. I do. A lot of crypto is just meme coins and scam coins, and you know, a lot of people do get hurt in that way, but that's not why he's going after it. Although he'll take that victory. It's like being at a tournament when you get a bye in the tournament. You're like, well, you know, that's not the way I wanted to move to the next round, but I'll take it, right? It's sort of like that. So he's going to take that victory. And I think it'll be quite easy for him because most of these coins are not compliant. They have no reason to exist whatsoever. But he is flashing the alarms to everyone, all the retail out there, saying, hey, we're about to come after these coins. Be prepared. And there's so many people not preparing. They're not preparing at all. And you know, he's going to be coming after exchanges. He's already been giving exchanges a hard time. So protect your money at all costs. We're not here to lose money, everybody. So I can't tell you what to do, but I personally have taken many precautions to protect myself. But let's go here. It says, Gary Gensler, the chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, has stated that Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency he considers outside the SEC's regulatory purview. According to the SEC's chairman, the world's largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization is the only digital currency believed to be a commodity, which is subject to be regulated by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. Okay, I don't understand that. If you understand decentralization and sufficient decentralization, and you understand that, like Bitcoin, all the other bank coins and and high level utility coins, anybody can build on them. Anybody can use them. It's just maybe some people, I can't even say some people choose not to. They just don't choose to do it to a massive degree like on Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is also an interesting revelatory thing about this statement is I guess he believes that Ethereum is a security. Oh man, prepare Ethereum, prepare. I actually always believed that Ethereum would be the big fish for the SEC. I really did. I just felt like they were going to hold them last because that's a really, really high profile case. While in a way, XRP is the big one for the bank coins, it's the big fish for the bank coins. It didn't start out a high profile case because the world didn't know about it, right? So although a lot of us knew about it and a lot of people that came before me knew about that case, it wasn't being covered until like mid last year, then start getting heavy cycles on the national TV and international TV, right? News cycle. But Ethereum everyone knows about Ethereum. People's grandmothers and grandfathers know about Ethereum. High level businesses, small level businesses know about Ethereum. Say what you want about Ethereum, but it has a name. So I guess they're in there as well. But this is why they want, like in the previous article we just read, they want to seal certain arguments because some of these blockchain companies like Ethereum are going to be able to hire top-notch lawyers. And if they do that, they can use these very same arguments to possibly win a case if Ripple comes out on top in this case. Everything that Ripple does right now is under a microscope, not only by the SEC, but by all other blockchains that might have to have a less than savory encounter with the SEC, right? So, okay, continuing on from there, let's go here. Let's just do a little bit of quant news. Like every week they have a great article on quant. Now, I keep my eye on quant. Like I said, quant is one of the coins that I'm ready to bring into the bank coin family. Like they're there. We went over in a video. This was a couple months back. I showed you all the documents, all the screenshots on their partnership with SIA Chain and SIA Partners. Don't forget, they're SIA Partners. And they are bringing over 500 banks to the table with Quant. That's almost as many banks as XRP. Now, here's the difference though. See, there's no guarantee that those banks will use Quant, but they are there on the table. Quant just has to do good presentations and close those deals and sign some memorandums of understanding. So it's yet to be seen. But they have the partnership with SIA Chain and SIA Partners. 500 banks are there. Now, if even a modicum of those banks were to use Quant, keep in mind, what is Quant's circulating supply? It has one of the lowest circulating supplies. It's like 13 million Quant. 13 million, somewhere around there, right? Maybe that number's not accurate, but it's somewhere around there. But what my point is that anything can send Quant's price skyrocketing. You see how it went for like $41? Like in the last 3 weeks, it was like $41. Now it's back up to like $60. It can skyrocket so fast because of its low circulating supply. It has a lower circulating supply than Bitcoin. So Quant is a big money coin and it's in there. Don't forget also they have Overledger for Ripple. So they may even get in on some of the banking deals that Ripple is involved with if they need a bridgeless system. Then on top of that, they just did they have a gateway for XDC now. So now they're able to get in on some of that trade finance money if XDC combines together with Overledger. So just keep that in mind. But let's just read a little bit here because it tells you a lot about why a lot of these large businesses are seeing Quant as very delicious of an offering. It says, writing smart contracts is often a specialist and risky endeavor. It requires blockchain developers to master niche programming languages and ensure their subsequent code is resilient against attack. Poorly coded smart contracts have contributed to massive fraud and hacking losses, and that's where Quant comes in. It says widespread across Ethereum. Ooh, shots at Ethereum. This problem continues to grow, and in 2021, cryptocurrency crime amounted to a whopping $14 billion. Let me tell you something. People don't take their money very seriously. There's almost nothing that they take more serious than their money. So when you're getting involved with banks, when you're getting involved with large business institutions, they don't want to lose money. So they have to look at anything that is a bridged system with a side eye, right? And Quant doesn't have that. They're using these particular gateways or such. Like it's a direct connection to everything, both in the legacy system as well as in the blockchains, right? They can create interoperability for everything, not just blockchain. A lot of the blockchains say interoperability, they only mean between blockchains, right? So this here, the fact that their smart contracts are so expertly formulated, that makes them a delicious offering because they're absolutely secure, right? And keep in mind, and I'm not sure if they're going to absorb some of this, was it XDC that now has a military grade security? And Quant now has a overledger for XDC. So that will be coming to the Quant network, right? I believe that's how it works, right? If they're using XDC and anybody uses Quant as overledger for XDC, then they get to experience that military grade security. XDC is another offering that's just mind blowing. I believe is going to be a very solid hold into the future. Of course, we're just going to continue to watch and we adjust. We adjust as things change. We don't have to be concrete. If the information changes, then we can adjust our thinking, right? So, you know, it's like being a batter in baseball. Like if the guy throws a curveball, I might hit it this way. But if the guy throws a fastball, I may have to make certain adaptations. We adapt to survive. That's how it goes. So it says, however, even when this occurs, inferior smart contracts have slipped through. It's talking about Ethereum, certain Ethereum mechanisms. The external verification process can also add substantial cost and development time to blockchain projects. So here they get into this little portion about the QRC20 smart contracts, right? It says Overledger's 2.1.7 release. They've been doing a lot of upgrades, by the way. Launched smart contract capability as QRC20 standard for commercial stablecoins and payments. Commercial stablecoins are going to be used by the banks. Quant is telling everybody, hey, we're about to get in deep with these banks. See what we did with Vechain? Over 500 banks. You see what we're doing with commercial stablecoins? That's us. We're going to be doing that. Banks are the ones who are going to be issuing commercial stablecoins. In my humble belief, we'll see how that plays out. Maybe they could flip it a different way. As I said, we will adjust if we need to adjust accordingly, right? But they're literally telling people that Quant, through their actions, cause and effect, all of these powerful partnerships. Remember, they sit on the Digital Euro Association, that price of Quant is going to skyrocket at some point. I mean, in the next, look, they went from like $41 to like $60 recently. This is in a bear market, right? People are in great fear and negativity at this time. Imagine what it's going to do when you're in a bull run. Think about that for a moment. People snatched up a ton of Quant. Oh, trust me. Oh, I know. Trust me, I know. When it was at like $41, $45, people snatched up a ton of Quant. And so in that next bull run, they're going to make a handsome amount of money. Remember the all-time high that Quant reached, which was last year, December, something like that. It was over $400, and people have been buying Quant at $40, $41, $45, $50, and now it's at like $62 or something like that. It was at $400 last year. People are going to make a pretty penny off of Quant if it only reaches its all-time high. And one day, once everything is up and running and you have mass adoption, Quant is going to blow past that all-time high. It's not even a question. It's not even a question. People are going to make a disgusting amount of money. Just my humble opinion. It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not trying to convince you to buy Quant. I'm just sharing my opinion and a little bit of things that I found. But here it says the QRC20 standard is based on Ethereum's ERC20 rules for fungible tokens. QRC20 functions like its Ethereum standard counterpart. With the same definitions and structure for its smart tokens, QRC20 enables users to create tokens, approve them, and decide how they are transferred. QRC20 is one of the most secure smart contract standards. It's unbelievable. Just if you get a chance, you go to read Quant's white papers and read all their documents on their website. Absolutely outstanding. I think the only blockchain that has astounded me more when I'm reading all of their documents, white papers of all different kinds, and documents of all different kinds was probably Hedera. Hedera has some amazing technology that can be used by anyone. I'm talking about Hedera if they wanted to. Hedera could be used, in my humble opinion, by large business institutions, governments, banks. I would even think that the military probably has much better stuff, obviously. But let's say if they wanted to use something on the low end, right? Hashgraph would be that, right? for certain low end things. Like anybody can use Hashgraph. It's so good. So we'll end the video off here with just a little bit of Vechain. Vechain news says Vechain and Synode. Videa is a circular sustainability app by Synode, providing rewards when users buy approved products or make green choices. I've been seeing a lot of articles on how green Vechain is. They are getting a lot of great marketing just from, I doubt they're paying these writers, right? You want to pay for billboards. You want to pay for people to maybe make videos about your stuff. Maybe you do pay people to write articles. I don't know, but I've been seeing a lot of Vechain articles lately. Great marketing. So the word is getting out there that Vechain is one of the greenest blockchains out there. It doesn't harm the environment. Also, they're one of the most massive utility coins on the planet. They're working with a bevy of different companies, fashion companies of all kinds. They had a makeup company we're working with last year. They have shoe companies that are coming out. You can track anything on Vechain. You have food companies working with Vechain. Remember, Vechain's also deep in China. They have the China green light. So they're in there working on different things and different offerings in China. So Vechain is able to theoretically scrape up money from around the world where there is no other coin that can do that, because China doesn't take too kindly to a lot of the blockchains out there, but Vechain is in there. So like I said, Vechain has access to all the money that it could ever possibly have the possibility of touching, right? It has the greatest, I don't know if I said that right. Like it has the greatest scope of money that it can have access to. That doesn't mean that they're going to access it. That doesn't mean they're going to take 100% of that. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if you look at what it can reach into, it has more reach than almost any other blockchain. I don't know why my brain feels like it's moving slow today. What's going on? I don't know. Thanks for hanging in there with me, everybody. I appreciate that. At times where I'm eloquent, at times where I'm not so eloquent, we all have those times. We have the ups and downs. The pendulum swings equally to the left as it does to the right, which is something I try to cover in my book. I will have another book coming out. It's going to take some time. I'm trying to condense everything so that it's as widely readable as possible. Like anybody can read this. Anybody can sit down and not feel like they're overwhelmed, so to speak, right? So we'll have more in the future. So anyway, now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. Don't forget, if you haven't already, grab a copy of my book on Amazon.com. It's available for digital download on your Kindle devices. Hopefully soon it'll also be available on Google Play, but I'll let you know about that. Also, don't forget on Spotify. My Auphanim, my first release on my Auphanim Spotify channel is out right now. It's called Go Dominate, right? I have a link to it inside the community tab. I have a link to it on Twitter, and I'll be putting the link below here in the video. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.